Hey, so what's going on with GameStop stock? What's a short sale? And what about this subreddit, Wall Street Bets, and Elon Musk tweeting? And is this the internet versus Wall Street? Well, kind of. Here's what's going on. If you haven't been paying attention, GameStop's, that's GameStop the store, stock is skyrocketing. And a lot of people are pointing the finger for this at a subreddit on Reddit called Wall Street Bets. And there's a lot of other things going on here. Basically, it's a lot of people seeing opportunities to make a lot of money. So I really didn't understand what was going on here. I had to talk to my longtime friend, Jill Schlesinger, who's a CBS News business analyst, to break it all down and really explain what's a short sale and is this exactly the internet versus Wall Street? Here's what she had to say.
There's something called short selling. Short selling is really weird. It's like a bet against the company. So here's what you do. I want to sell the GameStop stock. I have to go borrow 100 shares from my brokerage company. I borrow the stock and then I sell it. So net, it looks like I'm minus 100. Okay. That's my bet against the stock. What's important here? The borrowing part, because when you borrow something, you owe it back in the future. What I'm hoping is I sell GameStop when it's $10 a share and I buy it back when it's $1, right? Fantastic. Now, what happens when the stock goes up? Every day, it looks like I made a really bad bet because the stock I sold at 10, when it goes to 15, 20, I'm showing losses and losses and losses. And when you do that on a huge scale, when you sell a stock short, what you really have to hope for is that you have enough collateral margin that you can cover losses that you incur. Okay. What happened with GameStop is there were these big, huge companies who thought this is a company that's overvalued. That's it. It's not a bet against like these specific people who are bad people, good people, or anything. I bet this company is overvalued, and I sold it. And that's really how we entered into this current situation. So short sellers said we're against it, and then all of a sudden comes Reddit. It's not that short sellers are bad, but what's fascinating about this to me is that you have a group of people on Reddit who are like, hey, let's jam these dudes up. And here's how you do it. Now, there's nothing illegal about that unless the people who are saying, hey, go out and do this have some sort of inside information, which I don't think they did, but there's going to be an investigation.
Sure. So this really has nothing to do with GameStop, or at least video games, right? That company just found itself in the perfect situation to be bet for and against, meaning a lot of financial institutions thought that GameStop's business was going the way of the buffalo and eventually would go out of business. And people on subreddits like Wall Street Bets saw that this company was being so heavily shorted, they saw an opportunity to make money by driving the price up.
I think what's kind of interesting is that it brings to light a division in the investing world, which we used to call retail versus institutional. And I think what makes this kind of a delicious story for small investors, it's like, no, screw you, Mr. or Mrs. running your big hedge fund. Like, we can move markets too. You've been moving markets for the last 100 years. It's our turn. It is true that some short sellers basically agitate to get seats on boards, to gut companies, to do all those things. Same thing in private equity. There are good ones, there are bad ones. And and at the end of the day, they're all trying to do one thing. They're trying to make money. And if the smaller and retail investors out there are pushing them in different ways, I mean, it's sort of, like I said, it's a delicious aspect of the story. But to me, it's just old school. It's like some people think this thing is worth this. Other people think it's worth this. And, a lot of shorts have gotten squeezed out of trades that are far more interesting than this one. For everyone watching, if you are interested in doing things like this, it is dangerous. It's dangerous to short stock. It's dangerous to buy options when you don't know how options work. It's dangerous. If you want to be like sort of participating in something and you think it's cool and you want to learn something, take the amount of money that you feel like you can lose. That's what you should do.
So there you have it. Jill says it's just business as usual on the stock market. And I kind of think she's right. This kind of stuff's been going on forever, just much more in our faces because of where a lot of this buying power came from on the internet, in that subreddit, and from people like Elon Musk and other big players who tweet and can sort of move markets with a single post. So that's going to do it for me. I hope you learned something. I've learned so much. Again, if this whole situation helps you in the least bit understand the stock market a little more, it's probably a good thing. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Jeff Bakalar. I'll see you next time.